So I got kissed today, and I felt violated. Let's set up the scenario. Here I am lying on my couch taking a nap. So I got my blankets here, and I'm taking a nap. Let's set up the scenario, shall we? This morning I took a bus to the bus station, so I can take a different bus to work. Okay. Um, I went to the kiosk inside the station to ask which bus to take to get to a certain location. Because in a while I'm going to be going to a different location for personal reasons. So basically, different place to go. Anyway, I was in line to ask, and there was a woman trying to get tickets because she only, I guess, had an electronic means of purchasing tickets, and the minimum transaction at the kiosk is $10, and the minimum purchase you can make with the way the tickets are priced is to get 8 one-way passes for $10.25. She said she only had $10 in her Cash App, and wanted to know if she can give the extra quarter in cash. So something was resolved. Anyway, I asked what I needed to do to get to that location, and they told me which bus route I would need to take, and so I got that. I saw her getting on another bus, and I was behind her saying, ma'am, to get her attention. I guess she didn't pick up that I was trying to get her attention, so she got off that bus. I guess she figured out which bus to get on, and as she's walking towards that bus, I do get her attention, and because I got the impression that she's really struggling, and for all I know, she could have kids. I don't know. Sometimes it happens when women are struggling. It involves taking care of kids, but again, I knew that was an assumption. It may not be true. So I did get her attention, and I asked if she really needed that $10. And then she looked a little confused or something, so I repeated, do you really need that $10? And I said in a voice that conveyed the idea of in your life. And she said, yeah. So I took out my wallet, started reaching into it, and she was really thankful. And I guess because of how positive she was, instead of getting a 10, I decided to give her a 20 because the 10 would reimburse what she purchased on the tickets, and then she'd have an extra $10 to do what she needed to do with it. So plus those cash, so she could go to the machine to purchase tickets, so it's not $10 minimum. Anyway, I did that, and you might ask why I did only give 20. Well, that was large. I only had 120 in my wallet, and as far as why I did it, I mean, I don't have much money, but I'm not in like serious need of money. I'm not like going to go homeless anytime soon. I'm not in debt, except for some library fines. That's it. But like I have, what do you call it? I'm not in dire need of money. So I just gave her the $20 thinking, she is not doing so well. They have kids. I figured she could really use it more than I could. So I gave it to her, and she was really happy. And she embraced me, full on hug, which made me feel uncomfortable for 2 reasons. One, I have autism, and being touched, like being hugged, sometimes is uncomfortable. At the extreme with people with autism, they will scream out of pain. But for me, it just makes me uncomfortable. Combined with the fact that I have trauma from women lying and to get me in trouble saying they did something. They didn't, and that was an underlying concern. So, like, I'm freezed up and clenched up, like straight as an arrow. And then she kissed me on the cheek. Um, I know a lot of people would think that was cool. I would be happy, but um, the way she kissed me was um, pretty similar to the way my mother has. And my mother has made physical contact, which was completely inappropriate. Um, my therapist explained that my mother is something called emotionally incestuous. You can look it up for more details, but basically, she uses me, her son, and tries to get me to validate her as a romantic suitor or a romantic partner would do. So she basically, instead of me filling the role of her son, she wants me to emotionally fill the role of her partner. It is just very inappropriate. It's very damaging for me. It's very damaging for anyone to have to fill the role of their parents' lover. It's not right, you know. I mean, even if it's not physical, it's emotional. It's still crossing the line and really affects their children. It affects the children. So that was basically it. That was part of it was being trauma of girls and women lying to get me in trouble, and like spreading rumors, like telling people I'm a serial killer. That includes women online and management in the workplace too, an old job. You know, women lying in the workplace to get me in trouble. One job in the past, this woman, like I said to this woman, she looked nice, and she took it as a simple compliment. And it was verified when a coworker of mine asked her about it, and she took it as a simple compliment. But a third party started spreading rumors that I was making inappropriate comments. And I'm outside the building, and one of my superiors, she runs out yelling at me, saying she heard I did something I didn't. I calmly explained to her what happened. And then she yelled at me again, telling me to have someone explain it to me, assuming I'm guilty right away, right off the bat, assuming I'm guilty. So that's basically something I deal with, is the knowledge of, you know, women can make up a lie about you, and your superiors may condemn you as guilty without even doing an investigation. And then there was an issue at old job where, let's face it, I'm not the best looking guy, okay? There was this woman who really felt uncomfortable around me. So I did what I needed to do as a coworker, which was avoid her pretty much like whenever possible. If I turned the corner to this hallway, she was in the hallway, I'd go back away from her, do something somewhere else. So still working, but staying away from her, not looking at her, you know, staying completely away, out of sight. She was a delivery driver, so very rarely when I was cutting pizzas, I'd have to give her special instructions about the delivery. Or sometimes she would say something to me about the pizza or whatever. Usually she says something to me about the pizza, and that was it. It literally got to that point for over a month. But barely said anything. It was about work and stayed away from her whenever possible. And by the only time I would get close to her is if I would walk past her in the hallway to get the back. That's the closest I ever got to her. So Yeah, anyway, uh, what happened one day is my general manager asked me to go to the back and glue labels on the box, pizza box, or glue coupons. It's on the box, it doesn't get on the pizza, so you're good. And it's just Elmer's glue, so it's not going to cause any problems. Um, so I forgot about it at first, and I was going somewhere folding boxes. I think I was doing something somewhere else, and then I remembered that my general manager wanted me to do it. The thing is, we do that, gluing the coupons on in the back room, and all the supplies for it are in the back room. So there's this little hallway. I turn around the corner to get in there, and there's my general manager and a coworker talking to each other. So obviously I can't go in there because they're blocking. They're talking about something I can't hear because there's noise and they're not exactly raising their voices. So I couldn't hear anything. So I'm just waiting there for them to get done so I can go in the back room. Keep in mind, I'm clear up over on the air edge, almost touching the rack against the wall. And this coworker of mine, she is on the very opposite side of the end of the hallway. It's not a long hallway, maybe 20, 30 feet. But she's clear on the other end at a station that's touching the wall. She's cutting vegetables. And I'm just waiting there. And I don't know if she turned her head and saw me or what, because all of a sudden I hear, because I'm not even looking at her, I'm barely aware she's there, barely. All of a sudden she just starts yelling, "That's it! I'm calling HR!" Raising all kinds of madness. I go in the back, thinking I just got fired. I didn't do anything wrong. My general manager sent her home real quick. He told me he swore at her, but I heard him on the phone telling someone that I didn't do, quote, shit wrong, that I did nothing to provoke. And my general manager confided in me that, he said, I rarely ever talked to her. I avoided her whenever possible, So this backed me up a lot. And he told me he didn't know what to do in that situation because he's never had to deal with that before. But that's kind of a repeat occurrence with me. So yeah, because this woman hugged me, which is a common gesture of gratitude, I guess, but because she hugged me, and I have I'm autistic, so it makes it uncomfortable, and I have a bad history of women wanting to get me in trouble. I know she probably wasn't going to do it, but if you understand PTSD, it's always in the back of your mind. Yeah, I do actually have PTSD. I'm diagnosed, but it's always in the back of my mind. I always worry about things happening. Like I constantly, if someone says something at work, I constantly hear my name, thinking I'm in trouble. Constantly thinking I'm in trouble. But there's that, and the fact that she kissed me in a way that reminded me of the way my mother's kissed me, and my mother is emotionally incestuous. That's why I felt violated. But yeah, I know it doesn't make sense. Why would an incel feel violated about being kissed? But yeah, as you can tell, I've got issues.